come here to learn from each other and also to, contribute in our own way. And thank my colleagues as well for joining me today. My name is Fred Okute, and I'm here representing a company called Fit Factory Technology Limited. So Fit Factory, we are helping over 300 manufacturing SMEs in the UK and even globally, to achieve their digital transformation journey. So we're quite passionate in what we do, and we, looking to helping them get real insight into their day-to-day activities in order to optimize their production, improve their businesses, and also grow the businesses. We are based locally in Stockton, but we also have a branch in Cardiff. We also have an office in Glasgow as well. So today, I'm going to be taking you all through that journey we take our customers through. And the title of my presentation is Digitalization for Strategic Decision Making in Manufacturing. We're going to begin with the concept of manufacturing digitalization, just to ensure we all have the same understanding of what the subject means. We're going to look at why this is important for manufacturing businesses. We're going to look at how to make it happen. How can we achieve this? How can the small manufacturing businesses get to that level? We're going to look at the benefits of going through the challenge of achieving this goal. Then I've got some case studies of successful adopters, some of our customers that are winning with this, and there'll be a conclusion, and then the Q&A, which is the time I run away through that door to avoid any questions. What is manufacturing digitalization? Digitalization is not just about making existing data digital, but it's also the ability of using digital technology to collate data, establish trend, and make better strategic business decisions. That definition is very important because we go into a lot of businesses, and usually that's where they are. The pyramid indicates the journey of manufacturing digitalization. Most businesses focus on getting electronic data, and then they stop at that point. It will also surprise you that some manufacturing SMEs in the UK haven't even made that first step. Most of their processes are still very manual. They have information on manual documents written on piece of papers all around the shop floor. But the goal is to get them to take that first step, which is having access to electronic data. Okay? But once that data is available, that shouldn't be the end. So these companies need to move into the next phase, which is getting information out of that data. Data is massive. Data could be noise, it could be anything, it could be useless, it could be useful. But until you extract the information from that data, you've not started making that journey. It doesn't end in having the information. That information needs to also transfer into knowledge. So you should use that data to understand your business, understand the meaning of that data. And that is still not the end. The top of the pyramid is what we're aiming for. Be able to use that knowledge and turn it into wisdom. And what is wisdom? Better decision making, action, growing the business, changing the business because of the beginning, which is data. And that, in a nutshell, is an overview of manufacturing digitalization. Most of us here will be aware of the Industrial Revolution, which began in the 18th century, Industry 1.0, and that has graduated from 1.0 to 2.0 in the 19th century, 3.0 in the 20th century. Can anyone guess where a typical or average manufacturing SME would fit in this revolution? Three. Good. Usually between 2.5 and 3.5. That's where you find, and it's not a bad place to be in, because within Industry 3.0 you have automated production. They're very clever machines you could use on the shop floor, make parts quickly, easy to program, all good. You also have access to information technology in the sense that you have Excel spreadsheets that could do great things. You also have MRP, ERP systems at that point, which is also very good. But ideally, to really benefit from the technology that's available in today's day and age, manufacturing SMEs should move into Industry 4.0. Industry 4.0 is more about artificial intelligence, advanced automation, robotics, Internet of Things, digital twin, all of that technology to help optimize production processes, to make the workforce more efficient. That should be the goal. And like Benga said earlier, this is not just limited to your manufacturing shop floor. This is quickly, growing into the entire supply chain. We've got suppliers involved, customers involved, having portals and access to data to improve the whole logistics of this journey. So why is all of this important for manufacturing SMEs? Traditional data collection within manufacturing is fragmented and error-prone. It is also challenging to translate data into meaningful action and decision making. Usually by the time you collate that data manually, make sense of the data, present the data, it's already obsolete. Either the information is delayed, incomplete, and contains unintentional human bias. But this is where digitalization comes in. Digitalization seeks to unsilo data, analyze the data in real time, and use it to enable better, faster decisions across the enterprise. So you can imagine if you go into a traditional manufacturing environment, you have a board showing the SEQ, CDP kind of information, which is very crucial to grow a business. An average manufacturing environment, that would be on the board, manually filled in, and then they would all gather having their toolbox meeting, discussing those numbers. But imagine a world where that information is available on your phone, on a tablet, or on a monitor, and it's all digital. You can access it anywhere in the world, you can make those decisions straight away because you have access to that information. And this is broken into the 6 core areas of a manufacturing business. From a safety perspective, there's several KPIs and things you can track and manage: environment, quality, cost, delivery, people. Having access to such data, you can intervene spontaneously in events of malfunction or events that could impact profitability. The average manufacturing sites, they're always reactive. But with access to digitalization, they move from being reactive and be more proactive. Fast visual indication of success or failure. You don't have to wait until the end of the month before you need to fix something. You can fix them straight away because you have access to that information. By detecting issues before they occur, production processes can be optimized and overall resource utilization can be significantly improved. It also helps streamline supply chains and create transparency within them. This is an example of one of our machine monitoring dashboard. So we use an IoT device that is directly connected to the machine itself. No operators need to be involved in that process, and you get data of this nature. It shows you the availability of the machine, the OEE, the utilization of the machine. You get notifications if the machine is down, if the machine is idle, you have that information. And guess what? You don't even have to be on premise. You could be anywhere in the world and you have that data, and you can intervene and make a change. This is another of our application called Insights, which is for analysis. Again, you can see broken down into different areas of that business, fully customizable. You can build your widgets, all color-coded, they send notifications, and they drive you to make a decision based on the data that you have available. Again, in this day and age, because of technology, like I said earlier, this could be on any platform. It could be on your mobile phones, it could be anywhere, because most of these are provided on the cloud, so you have access to it anywhere. And it's easy to use and deploy. So now, the most important question, how do we make it happen? How do we make digitalization happen? Embracing digital transformation means challenging legacy business models and taking new risks. This is usually the biggest challenge. Change everywhere is a challenge, but for manufacturing is a bigger challenge. Because you have very clever people that have done things in a certain way for years and they've been maybe profitable or they've kept the business going. And then you come and introduce all of this change. It's usually a challenge. So it is very important that manufacturing business owners, the leadership of those businesses should communicate effectively and carry everybody along and give the reason why the business is going down this route of automation. It's not just adopting technology for technology's sake. Can you justify why you're going down that path? It also means searching the value chain for new ways to improve, simplify, and innovate. So you have to be involved in it. You can't achieve this passively. You have to look at every opportunity to introduce technology to improve your processes. It has to be a new mindset. It requires creating the right mix of people, processes, to go along advanced technology. Maybe in the future, we might be in a position where technology will be able to do everything on its own, but we're not there yet. For technology to succeed, you need the right people, you need the right team, you need the right processes. You can have the best software or the best automation. If you don't have the right team to put it in place, to maintain it, to run it, you're most likely going to fail. Again, we go into a lot of manufacturing businesses and you have a chat with the MD or the CEO in that business and they give you the vision of a fantastic dashboard, Big Brother, proper Big Brother, showing everything that's happening in the business. Tell you the vision of having robotics on the shop floor and all of that. It's great, that should be the vision, but usually they have no foundation to build to that vision. So it's important to take small steps and grow with a continuous improvement mindset in order to achieve that full automated smart factory. That's the vision. Again, bigger organizations, larger organizations perhaps will have enough resource to dedicate an innovation team to grow all of this within the business. But for manufacturing SMEs, resource is always a challenge. So it's important to partner. Look for vendors that have done this in the past, people that have got the experience, and partner with them. But obviously, you need an internal project manager to help with the communication and the structuring of all of these deployments. We at Fit Factory, again, this is not a hard sell, but just to explain what we do. We at Fit Factory take our customers through a journey called the SCALE journey, which is an acronym for streamline, connect, analyze, level up, and extend. Okay? Streamline is the very core of the journey, the very beginning. When we come in, we understand what the customer does, we understand the processes, the team, understand what they want to achieve, and we ensure that the basic systems are in place to run the business. And I'm talking basic day-to-day activities from like logging a customer inquiry, to production, to inventory management, to delivery, to invoice. We make sure there's a system in place to run that. And usually that's your MRP, ERP systems. Once that's solidified, move over to the next phase, which is the connect. At that point, you then realize there are some gaps that needs to be filled. Maybe they might need information from the shop floor. Maybe they need the asset manager system that would help with the calibration and machine maintenance. Things of that nature, we plug them in the connect phase. And usually at that point, it's all ready, the foundation is there, to then move into analyze. Analyze is where we use all of that data that is now available to make the right decisions. Still doesn't end there. Like I said earlier, this can be extended to the suppliers and the customer into the whole of the supply chain. And from a very basic stage of MRP ERP implementation, we are now working on projects like the EcoSprint project and the Factory Twin project. These are projects funded by Innovate UK. EcoSprint is about using data and artificial intelligence to drive down carbon emission for manufacturing SMEs. Very futuristic, very clever. Factory Twin, similar, using data and artificial intelligence to create or generate the digital twin of a manufacturing SME. Okay, and then the concept there is if you have that platform, you can then use that to improve your customer delivery. You can run simulations, models. You can do all of these changes to help grow the business without obstructing your day-to-day activities on the shop floor. So at the very top of this journey, this is an example of the connectivity you would expect. I know it looks like a lot of information there, so I'll go through it quickly. So in the middle there is the Fit Factory MES system, manufacturing execution system, cloud-based, open API, fully integratable manufacturing execution system sitting in the middle. Then surrounding this are different platforms of data that's relevant to achieve your digital twin journey. We've got SFDC, shop floor data collection. That would be an application for the operators on the shop floor to capture data, how many parts they've made, how many were scrapped, the reason for scrapped. All of that valuable data gets pushed into the MES system. Machine monitoring, I've mentioned that already. You don't need an operator. The machine itself sends the data straight into the MES system. Production scheduling, clever tool, optimizes your resources and your capacity, create a plan for you to meet your customer delivery. That also gets pushed in there. We are partnering with SMS technology. Some of you might know SMS technology. They come into a manufacturing business, they have a look at all of the documents there, and they make them digital. Make them digital is easier to trace, to measure, to analyze. All of that becomes possible. We also partner with Vision Intelligence. Vision Intelligence is a cutting-edge AI camera system that helps with quality control and training for like heavy manual manufacturing processes like assembly and plating and things of that nature. It's fully integratable with an open API, so we've got a placeholder for third-party applications that's required depending on the situation of the manufacturing business. But we also have our next generation ERP system, which would run the business from the very front end of quotation to the very back end of invoicing, including accounts and HR, to push data into the MES platform as well. And then Insight is where all the reporting functionality is stored, where all the wisdom is generated. The concept here is if you have this architecture ready, this can then be replicated on the digital twin platform. Okay, so with that, you have access to real-time data from the shop floor. You can run simulations, you can try out new processes, you can introduce new products without disrupting the day-to-day activity on the shop floor. So, The key benefits, I know throughout this conversation I've highlighted a lot of benefits, but it's always good to touch on some of these points again. Improve productivity and efficiency. That's one of the benefits you get if you decide to go on the journey of manufacturing digitalization. Improve accountability. There's a better sense of ownership. People know where the data is coming from. They know where the data is going. It's easy to track and trace. Promote values and enact the right culture. Impress clients and competitive advantage. Imagine you own a manufacturing business and the prospect comes in and they're able to see how automated that factory is. Straight away it's a win because they know they'll be able to get data from it easily. Better communication and increase in internal and external engagement. Increased profit margin, absolutely, that's what we want. Transparency and traceability. So these are some of the key benefits of going on this journey. Case studies of successful adopters. So I've got two examples here. I have one of our customer called Cambridge Rapid Components Limited. So you can see there they've got 87% savings in admin and operations cost. That's a good number, very good number. We've got 32.5 hours per week saved because of efficiency gain. And in the words of Esther, the MD, digital improvement help to remove non-productive tasks that do not generate much profit. And here we have another interesting one, Waymont Precision Engineering. They grew their order book from £500 to 5 million in 7 years as a result of adopting technology and automation. They were able to obtain AS9100 accreditation, saved a lot of time in changing their processes. And in the words of the MD there, Dave, wouldn't be where we are today if it wasn't for Fit Factory and our digital transformation. So, in conclusion, I'm sure we have a lot of manufacturing stakeholders in this room, and even if you're not, I think the question here is, have you got access to data? And are you utilizing that data? Are you leveraging that data to try and improve your business? It doesn't matter what area of the business you have the data, and it doesn't even have to be too clever. You don't need digital twin to start this journey. It could be just an Excel spreadsheet. But that data, is it giving you information that you're not utilizing? We'll be at the very front end of customer relationship management. What can you do with that data? What is it telling you? How can you grow the business? Is it at the very back end, maybe quality, QMS systems, finance or HR? The goal here is to get data working for us. And in the famous words of Peter Drucker, you can't improve what you don't measure. I think that's a good summary for this presentation. It's time to run away.
Thank you, Fred. Any questions?
So just go back to that previous slide, because I assume these are modules that you can build on, because you didn't really touch on the CRM or the inventory management, but
they're all separate modules.
readily available for it.
Yeah.
Okay, so you mentioned the ERP system as well. What was it?
NXG? Yeah, next generation.
So if you want to retain your existing ERP, is it still integratable?
Yeah.
Depending on what, so mine's Sage, or somebody's using
Sales
SAP.
manufacturing. Yeah.
Is that still?
Yeah, absolutely. So with the MES system, it's all bolt-on. So you can decide to benefit from the shop floor data collection, for example, if that's where the pain is, or maybe scheduling from a production perspective, and that can be bolted on to your standard MRP system, and the data integration is just the push and pull, really.
Okay. So, and typically, what would you say a project timeline would look like if you were going to go full machines? Because obviously you're relying on production lines with PLCs to be able to measure.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to integrate into them PLCs.
Absolutely.
Obviously you're going to have that front end reporting as part of that.
Absolutely.
And the ERP interface.
Yeah.
How long?
It's a hard question because it depends. And there's a lot of variation in there. The resource available at the end of the customer, how much commitment.
We give you all the resources.
Everything I need.
Everything you need. Apart from the price you ask for.
Yeah. I mean, usually we don't go for all of it in one go.
Yeah.
Because it's just too much.
Okay.
So we phase it out into different stages. And I think the most important thing for us is to ensure we and the customer understand it's a continuous improvement journey. It's not a sprint, just get to the end and then it's it. That's the end. You have to stay on that journey.
And there's a module that probably would add a lot of value that nobody else offers what you've got here, and that would be S&OP. sales and operations process, because it ties in 4 or 5 of them modules as well.
Absolutely.
It's what a business really struggles with. So.
Absolutely.
Now, to help you develop, then let's see what this kind
Can have that conversation later, yeah.
No, it's really great. Any more questions?
I'd like to start with something there. So just from a kind of regional perspective, just interested in what's the Northeast like in terms of like adoption levels of this technology compared to other parts of the country or even international? Because obviously we want as a chain for our businesses to be as productive and competitive as possible. Yeah, any sort of oversight into what we're like in the rest of the country?
Yeah, I think for us it's slightly different because Feed Factory predominantly was based in the south, so majority of our customer base are from the south. But still, we are aware there's a lot of marketing here that we need to tap into, and as a business, we're building our infrastructure now so we can focus on the north to try and grow the north. But I've worked for a previous similar business in the past, and I think they were more focused in the north, and we saw that traffic. And I'm talking maybe just 2-3 years ago. I can't give you specific numbers, but we're sure there's a market here for adopting this. Because here you find a lot of manufacturing SMEs that just getting started or finding their legs. They're just coming in to help them at that early stage. Really, that's the goal.
Right. Yeah, fantastic.
Yeah.
You talk about machines a lot and taking data out of PLCs. You had many interventions where the manual operations and they're not automated.
When it comes to the machine monitoring, we try to stay away from going into the machine to pull the data. So we have non-invasive sensors. So we could.
What about when there's no machine?
And there's no machine.
There's lots of production operations where there aren't any machines.
Yeah, that's true.
Manual. So when I mentioned there was I mentioned there for Vision Intelligence, which is a partner for Feed Factory. So Vision Intelligence applies more for like a manual-driven operation process. They use advanced cameras, AI information, to track the movement of manual manufacturing processes, and all of that gets converted into electronic data, which can be stored and used to improve the processes. So you could have maybe an expert, if you like, carry out that process, and then this camera will be able to capture the movement and the timing, and then that gets stored in the memory of the system. And that could be used to train other members of staff, and it could also be used to track when something is going wrong if somebody else is repeating the same operation. So there's a lot that could be done. You don't necessarily need to tie it to like a standard CNC machine or that nature. If it's manually based, there's still technology to help in situations like
we
that.
use something similar, but we use the team members to actually enter the data
Yep.
in a kiosk. But it's obviously you've got manual intervention, then you've got vagaries of using people who are entering the data.
Absolutely.
And you do a 2-hour operation now takes 8 hours, and you're not really seeing why. So unless they enter
Exactly,
why.
unless you capture it.
So that's the.
I mean, with a live dashboard, in some situations like that, you could see the data in real time, which means you can go and intervene and find out more about it. Because we offer like a shop floor data collection that's very manual as well. So that like a tablet, the operator would have to go and say, I'm starting the job, and then come back, I'm done. But that information can go on the dashboard, where you can see the estimated plan time of that job, and on that live dashboard, as it begins to go over, there will be an indication on there for intervention and then investigation. And in real time, I think that's the key word, real time. Because if you wait until the next morning, it turns into exactly, turns into something else. You're not being reactive. Yeah.
I think we got away pretty easily.
You didn't have to run away. Thank you guys.
That's